The Fall of Numenor seeks to present in a single volume selections from JRR Tolkien's posthumously published writings about the Second Age of Middle-earth. This book would not have been possible without the extraordinary literary achievements of Christopher Tolkien, who introduced readers of The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings to the rich legacy of myth and history from both the Elder Days and Second Age. This he achieved through his long years of dedicated curatorial stewardship, editing, assembling, compiling, and providing invaluable commentary to his father's many manuscripts and drafts. It was in the pages of the Silmarillion, Unfinished Tales, volumes of the history of Middle-earth, and other works, as edited and prepared for publication by Christopher Tolkien, that the story was first told of the fall of Númenor, the rise of Sauron, the forging of the Rings of Power, and the last alliance of elves and men against the Dark Lord of Mordor. The intention is not to supplant these works, as each already stands as a definitive presentation of J.R.R. Tolkien's writings with peerless, insightful commentary and analysis by Christopher Tolkien, but rather to provide extracts from the above, with as few editorial interventions as possible, that illustrate in the author's own words the rich and tumultuous events of the Second Age, as summarized by J.R.R. Tolkien in his The Tale of Years, Chronology of the Westlands, that appears as part of Appendix B in The Lord of the Rings, and which is reproduced at the beginning of this volume. For those wishing to delve deeper into its history, the notes provided at the end of the book, many of which draw upon Christopher Tolkien's own invaluable editorial expertise by reproducing or quoting from his own notes to the original published sources, will aid their explorations as they seek to discover more about the Second Age of Middle-earth. Page references relate in all cases to the first edition of that work, with the exception of The Lord of the Rings, where reference is made to the reset edition published in 2004 for the book's 50th anniversary. The selected passages and extracts are arranged following the chronological year order set down in The Tale of Years, Chronology of the Westlands, and are presented in chapters titled to accord with the chronology. This presentation has been augmented by two other sources, the names and dates of the Númenorian kings given in Appendix A, Annals of the Kings and Rulers, again in The Lord of the Rings, and the line of Elros, kings of Númenor, is found in Unfinished Tales Part 2, The Second Age. The events of the Second Age as they unfold respectively on Númenor and in Middle-earth are chronicled using material from the following sources. For Númenorian history, the text of Akalabeth, in the Silmarillion, the story of Aldarion and Erendis, and the genealogical table, the earlier generations of the line of Elros in Unfinished Tales, and taking into consideration material found in the history of the Akalabeth, the peoples of Middle-earth, the early history of the legend, and the fall of Numenor both in the Lost Road and other writings, and the drowning of Anadune in Sauron Defeated. As Christopher Tolkien would have wished, research into his father's writings continues, and the text additionally draws upon a further posthumous volume of Tolkien's writings, The Nature of Middle-earth, in 2021, edited by Carl F. Hostetter. These sources are edited so as to tell the history of the establishing of Númenor, its geography and wildlife, and the lives of the Númenorians, additionally including or drawing upon a description of the island of Númenor in Unfinished Tales, and from The Nature of Middle-earth, the land and beasts of Númenor, the lives of the Númenorians, and the aging of Númenorians. Passages used do not necessarily appear as originally presented in that volume, but in an order best suited to the chronological narrative. The events that unfold in Middle-earth concurrent with those on Númenor have been selected from the text of the Rings of Power and the Third Age in the Silmarillion, the history of Galadriel and Celeborn in Unfinished Tales, and Galadriel and Celeborn in the nature of Middle-earth. This volume adheres to the principle established by Christopher Tolkien that the published texts are treated as being the final versions, and in instances where material is included from earlier drafts with variant names, dates, and spellings, such variations are amended to conform with those finally adopted. Where he considered words or phrases in his father's handwriting to be uncertain, they are preceded by a question mark. Editorial interventions are in a smaller font size and indented. Explanatory emendations by the editor to introduce passages or within the body of an extract are shown in square brackets. The opening words to passages were not capitalized, and the original had been silently amended to begin with a capital for ease of reading. Omissions of words within a passage are indicated with an ellipsis. The book also includes extracts from the letters of JRR Tolkien in 1981, edited by Humphrey Carpenter with the assistance of Christopher Tolkien, and incorporates significant passages from The Lord of the Rings related to the Second Age, which provide important relevant material. In some of these, the text has been abridged, with edits indicated by ellipses or silently rearranged. In all instances, endnotes will direct the reader to the relevant passages in the three parts of the work indicated as Fellowship, Towers, and Return.